It's Caviar for dinner, and it also was 100 degrees today, so usually I wouldn't want a 10% alcohol beer, but I've been itching to try this, and I think that's actual caviar in a very stylish, shiny label, and it's Finback's triple IPA, 3rd anniversary, triple dry hopped IPA caviar. That is supposed to be, of course, pretty darn good. It was canned a little under 4 weeks ago. It has cryo hops. Not exactly sure what they mean by that. That's their term for lupulin powder or something similar to lupulin powder. And the cryo hops are Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe. The 3 biggest American hops, basically. And I'm just gonna crack it open. I don't know much about what's in it, except that it's very hoppy and strong and triple dry hopped and all that stuff. I don't know the malts, but let's just get into this thing. I haven't had any Finback IPA that's over like 8.2 or something. Maybe 8.5 is the strongest one I've had. And that looks really good, nice and foamy, soapy, thick white head. This is a kind of a wide glass, so it's making it seem a little darker maybe than it is, but it is not very pale. But at 10% alcohol with all that malt and all this haze, it makes sense that it's a little bit dark. Ooh, and that is big, fruity, potent hop aroma. Definitely seems like there's going to be a bite to it, but it's extremely juicy, but it's got lots of grapefruit, potent, juicy, but also bitter grapefruit. Pineapple, mango, all that stuff is going on. Super fruity and citrusy at the same time. And once again, very low on the dank green character, as you expect from Finback, but it doesn't smell like it's going to be low in the bitterness or just a hot punch to the face. And the head's staying nice and creamy, even though it's kind of warm in here. But this beer looks very, very good. Yeah, it's still sweet and rich, but just a little bit of booze heat. No booze flavor. I didn't get any boozy aroma. Yeah, this is like drinking the best ever fruity, juicy, creamy cocktail you can imagine. It's pretty luscious on the tongue without being super syrupy. It's still got plenty of hop particles and proteins, adding graininess and bitterness, resinous qualities. It is warming up my throat. I can feel it going down there, but it's the first beer I've had, and I've actually only just been like chugging water all day, and nothing cold. So having a cold, strong thing go down my throat is an interesting experience, but still very pleasant. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a burn build up in the throat, a little bit, but it's not unpleasant after the first sips at all. It's so rich and doesn't have, I mean, it has a hot punch. It's just a kind of a generic greenness. It's not soapy, it's not too pithy, it's not oniony, garlicky, dank, overly dank. Maybe there's a touch of some really clean, woody resin in there. It's helping to cut some of the intense fruitiness and sweetness along with the booze, but it's still really fruit forward. This one doesn't smell quite as like generic candy like though. It's pretty much all about the fruits. It's not a frosting-y sort of experience. I'm not getting too much of a bubblegum cotton candy sort of thing going on, or Smarties. And this one's got the thickness and sweetness of actually drinking fruit juice, because a lot of times these beers are juicy, but juice, you know, you can imagine pulp and so much sugars and things. This is like a nectar, I guess. It's like puree, actual pureed fruit. is what the body has in this, except there are no chunks, of course. Maybe if you let this sit in the fridge for a month or two, some chunks will develop. I only poured, half the can in here. Well, this is actually, it's quite similar to the Streets. I think I like it more than the Streets. That was Trillium's 10% IPA they released with a whole pile of hop varieties. And that was really good because that one was just super fruity and sweet, but I think this one packs a little bit more punch. The triple dry hopping kind of raises the aroma and a little bit of the perceived bitterness that I think helps this beer because it is so malty and sweet. The Streets, I don't think, they didn't advertise that as even being double dry hopped. It didn't have a huge aroma. It was very good, but I think this one, it's pretty darn similar, but has a little bit of an edge. Now it's warming up, I'm getting a little bit of some kind of creamy thing, but it's not quite all out vanilla frosting or anything like that. Sometimes I even say like birthday cake and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I would give this a pretty high rating. It's like, I would have to do 90 at least. It's not my favorite beer of all time, but it's the most pleasant triple IPA I've had. And Finback, once again, hits out of the park. Get it if you can, but it's probably too late.